Hello students, welcome to Veranda IAS. From the current affairs of science and technology, in this session, we are going to learn about EnVision Mission. The learning objectives of this particular session will be to discuss about the EnVision Mission, examine the EnVision Mission in the news, then we will discuss the other missions to the Venus, and then list the importance of studying the Venus. So let's begin first by introducing ourselves to the EnVision Mission. But before that, just simple point, EnVision Mission is mission towards the Venus. Venus is one of the planets in our solar system that we have learned since our childhood days. So let's begin to understand what the mission is all about. The mission was led by European Space Agency with support from National Aeronautics and Space Administration. So European Space Agency and NASA, their project to the Venus is EnVision Mission. Further, it will most likely be released in the 2030s. So I hope by that time you have proceeded, or you may be the bureaucrats by that time. So it is in the 2030s that the mission will be released, or it will be launched simply. So moving ahead, so again understand, as the mission is going to be launched in 2030, so at present the information that we have is only at the planning levels and the policy levels, not the detailed one as to what the objectives and all those things. The objectives will be there, but they will be not that detailed as we are expecting, or as they will be in the times to come. So there will be a news that will be appearing on this particular missions, but as obviously this is like rarely we go on the Venus, because we are more focused right now at this age or this decade, we have most focused on the Mars. So from the exam point of view, if the UPSC has to surprise you, then they can ask you about this mission also. So that's why we are learning. So the spacecraft will take around 15 months to reach Venus after being launched on an Ariane 6 rocket, and another 16 months to achieve orbit circularization. That means to get into the orbit. So 15 months to reach to the orbit, Venus, and then launch from the Ariane 6 rocket, and then 16 months to achieve the orbit circularization, or we can simply say to get into the orbit of Venus. The spacecraft will be equipped with variety of equipment for studying the planet's atmosphere and surface, as well as monitoring trace gases. Okay, so that is the objective, we can simply say. So why it is there? It will be there for, it will have the equipments which will be studying the planet's atmosphere, surface, and obviously there are gases, large amount of gases can be released, multiple type of things are there. So to monitor the trace gases, if they are available, that will be done in this EnVision mission. Now, what was the news? On 12th June 2021, the European Space Agency announced a new mission to Venus known as EnVision Mission. So I told you earlier also, this is a mission to the Venus. So that was the news, and because of the news, we are learning that. So that becomes very significant for the UPSC exams of the coming year. They can ask you a factual question about what this mission is all about and the organization which are responsible for that. So ESA has chosen EnVision to be its next orbiter, which will visit Venus in 2030. So it is 2030. So in that decade it will be, but obviously the space missions do not happen in one day or 1 year. They have to be planned tens of years, of at least a decade or 5 years. It is a long span. Okay. So further, what are the other missions onto the Venus that have already been done, or they are planned in the future? So we'll see that. So since 2015, the Akatsuki spacecraft launched by Japan has been researching the planet's atmosphere. So we can say Japan is already there researching about the Venus in the name of Akatsuki spacecraft. Then we have Da Vinci Plus. This will be simple to remember, even you can remember it by the help of the movie Da Vinci. And the Veritas are the two new robotic missions to Venus that NASA has announced between 2028 to 2030. It will be launched. Okay, so the time span again, it is like 8 to 10 years from now that they will be launched, but they are in the news. So match their pairs type of question even can appear in the prelims. But the most important from the India's point of view, in 2024, India aims to launch Shukrayan, a new Venus orbiter. So Mangalyaan was for Mars. Now we have Shukrayan for the Venus, because Shukra is the Indian name for the planet Venus. So I hope you will remember these other missions to the Venus too. Now, what is the importance of studying Venus? Now, why do we want to study the Venus? Now, that is the point, like obviously first point is exploration. is what you can say has been always the quest of human beings. So we have explored the planet Earth. Now we want to explore the other parts of the universe, and that's exploration, at least in initial stages, begins with our solar system. So it will aid in understanding how Earth-like planets. Now Earth-like planets we also call Mars-like to be an Earth-like, but Venus is the most closest Earth-like planet. So Earth-like planets evolve and what conditions exist on exoplanets of the Earth's size. Now exoplanets are the other planets other than that of the Earth which are revolving in around the sun, or they are orbiting around the sun. So other planets like Mars and all those things are also exoplanets. It will aid in climate modeling and serve as a cautionary warning about how quickly a planet's climate may shift. This is something which we have to understand. Why? Because in the next point you will understand, and then I will come back to that point. The scientists hypothesize on the likelihood of life on the Venus in the distant past, as well as life in the top levels of the planet's clouds, where temperatures are less harsh. So there was a possibility of life in the past in Venus, but then again, if there was life, then why the life disappeared from the Venus, and how quickly, like we are saying climate change, we are predicting the models like the change will happen after 20 years, 30 years, 50 years, but is it always certain? No. Okay, so anything can happen with regard to climate, how rapidly it can change, and if there are rapid changes, again understand it is directly going to impact our lives. So if there is a rapid change in the climate tomorrow, then whether we will be surviving, that will be the question. Okay, so because of this, we can say this serves as a cautionary warning about how quickly a planet's climate may change. So studying Venus will be important with respect to studying the climate on the Earth and the changes that climate change can create on the planet. In year 2020, scientists discovered phosphine is a chemical created solely through biological processes. Now this is interesting. If phosphine is created, it is a chemical which is outcome of the biological processes. And if we are finding this on the Venus, that means that is there any chance that there is a life on the Venus? Okay, now again, it is not the life that we see, the form of life that we see in the movies, like the aliens and all those things. It can be a primitive kind of life which is just going or starting a biological processes. But still, when we define the life, the definition of the life when it comes to biological terms, it's like it is able to reproduce, catabolism and metabolism are happening, reproduction is happening. So they may not be the advanced levels of living organism, but at least there is a process which can be seen as an initiator or at least end of the life. So that phosphine was found in the Venus atmosphere, and that makes Venus very interesting subject for the study. So with that, to summarize what we have learned the EnVision mission, then we studied EnVision mission in the news, then we studied other missions to the Venus, and then we studied the importance of studying the Venus. That point is it had life or it may have life. So on the basis of that, Venus becomes an interesting planet to study in our solar system. With that, I hope you have understood whatever we have discussed in this particular session. That's it for this session. See you in another one. Thank you.